If you are a caregiver and January already feels heavier than you expected, I want to say this right away. You're not behind and you didn't do the holidays wrong. And you don't need to just get it all together. January is a revealing month in caregiving. It's not because you failed, but because this is when the system shows its cracks. And today, I want to talk about what actually needs to be reset this month and what you're allowed to stop carrying. You don't need to have a big overhaul, not a new routine, just a calmer, steadier way forward. January exposes every weak spot in a care plan. And in my practice, what I've noticed is January does something interesting in dementia caregiving. All of the distractions are gone, the adrenaline is gone, and the temporary support visitors will deal with this later. They're all gone. And what's left is the day-to-day reality. And that's why January feels so much harder. Not because the disease suddenly worsened, but because the gaps are easier to see. The gaps in support, routines, communication, expectations, these all suddenly become glaring. And when I meet caregivers, they often tell me things like, I thought I had a plan, but what I have is no longer working for me or my person. And that realization to caregivers can feel super scary. Here's what most caregivers try to reset first in January, but it oftentimes backfires. They try to do more appointments, more organizing, more research on the internet, more fixing. And while that makes sense, oftentimes it backfires because the issue usually isn't effort. It's that their care plan was built around how things used to work, what the system expects, or what feels responsible, not around individualization and what actually works now for you and your person. And I want you to hear this. January doesn't need more from you. It just needs alignment, some adjustments, or maybe some small tweaks. And I want to pause here and say this clearly. And I want to pause here for just a second and say this clearly. If this month feels heavy, that's information. That's not failure. Because most caregivers were never given a roadmap. They were never given a system and how things really work in real life. And without looking for it on their own, they were never given a guide for what changes as dementia care progresses. So when things stop working, caregivers often blame themselves. But this isn't about you doing something wrong. It's about you trying to survive inside of a system that was never built for you at any stage of the disease process. And oftentimes what I find is that caregivers often need permission. And so if you're like some of the caregivers that I've met, I want to give you permission. So here's what you can let go of this January. You can let go of trying to fix everything at once, meeting everyone else's expectations while giving up yourself. And lastly, holding yourself to an outdated version of caregiving. You are absolutely allowed to stop forcing systems that no longer fit. You're 100% allowed to reset how you're thinking, not just what you're doing, because that's not giving up. That's just adjusting with clarity. And here's the counterintuitive truth. Doing less, but more intentionally, creates more stability. And January should actually be about narrowing your focus, protecting all of your energy, identifying what actually matters right now. And that's how caregivers move from constant reaction to calm navigation. And that's the reset. And this is exactly why this month we're opening up the care shift. Because caregivers don't need more pressure. They need more clarity, more structure, and support that evolves with them. I've sat in thousands of homes just like yours, helping caregivers navigate dementia care. If this conversation resonates with you, if you're ready to stop guessing and start navigating, then the care shift is for you. Because this movement is all about supporting caregivers, giving you the inside answers, the sneak peeks to what happens behind the medical scenes, how to adjust your care in a way that's going to work for you inside of the medical system. You don't have to overhaul everything. You just need a better way forward. If you've ever found yourself stuck inside of the system, guessing and trying to figure out the next move with no support, drop it in the comments below. Let me know what happened to you and your loved one. And until next week, I'll be here sharing with you while you're caring for them.